Hey, what's up, my fearless networking friends? Todd Falcone here. Welcome back to the show. What is this, episode 21 or so, or something like that? What's up? Okay, so look, I've been having some conversations with you guys the last few weeks about cooperative, creating growing an organization beyond just recruiting and prospecting. Of course, starts with you. If you don't ever recruit anybody, you're never going to build a team. If you don't ever put a customer in, you're never going to have a customer. You're not going to have stories. You're not But here's the thing. I think last couple weeks ago we talked about fast starting distributors. Last week we had a conversation around this whole idea of creating duplication systems and processes. If you haven't had a chance to review those episodes, please do, because there's last couple weeks have been along this subject. Now I'm just coming off of about a week or so ago, I did a 4-day retreat in my hometown, just outside of Bend, Oregon, and Sun River, Oregon. Had a handful or so of people in a house, and that retreat was designed as a business building retreat. So this is something that I do once every couple months with a very small group of people. We typically only have up to maybe 8 people in a house, and the whole objective is to be hands-on, right? Hands-on working with people in their business. It's not a seminar. It's not me speaking from the platform. It's not people, sitting in an audience taking notes. There's a time and a place for that, right? There's a time and a place to learn something, to learn new ideas, but there's also a time and a place to dig in, right? So the content for today's episode is, how much digging in are you doing, right? I see a lot of people that don't do a lot of digging in, and I want to give you some stuff that I think will be very valuable today in helping you to get more people doing more stuff, right? So it's still along the lines of duplication and team building. So I guess the last few weeks has kind of thematically been similar, different chunks of content, but the theme is, hey, how do we grow a bigger organization? So look, I don't know about you, but if I was just thrown into the fire and wasn't given any kind of guidance, I'd have been scared to death. And people that are scared to death just run, and they don't do anything. I don't know what you're like. Obviously, if you're watching me, listening to me, I can't look or hear, look through the camera or hear through whatever, podcast you're on or whatever, and you know exactly what you've done and how long, what your background was prior to network marketing. Everybody comes into network marketing for the first time pretty green. And it's new, and it's a little scary, man. I mean, it's a little scary approaching people about a business or about a product, and I understand that. And the biggest battle and I talk about this often, all the time, in fact, that we have to win victory over is our mindset, right? Am I good enough? Why would anybody listen to me? I've never had a track record of success, and here I'm supposed to go try to attract people. Why? Nobody's going to come listen to me. I mean, I was 22 when I started. I was scared to death. And I'm sharing this with you because I think, if you want to grow a big organization, I think being hands-on and working with your people and helping them to get past their stuck stuff, right? Whatever that is, their blocks. People have blocks. Even with this actually every single retreat that I've ever done, every single one without fail, people have blocks. And the reason I do the retreat in that manner, and I literally move into a house with people for 4 days where I'm living with them, is because in that kind of an environment, and only that kind of an environment, can you really help somebody remove a significant block and get moving. I don't know about you, but think about it. So perhaps maybe you've got somebody in your group and they, you're like, hey, well, report back to me how many calls you do, how many reach outs you do, how many social media reach outs, hey, how many whatever. And they're like, I didn't do anything. Well, we're not here to babysit anybody, but if you can't, you might have somebody who's got a strong desire to do something, but honestly, they're scared to death. And if you, and the only way to, perhaps in some of these instances, is to get them through their stuff, is to be there with them and to work with them and to engage with them in the same room, in the same place. And I realize this is a very high-touch part of the business. And many of you who are watching me or listening to me probably do a lot of stuff on social media, which is beautiful. But I also think there's a place where, for people, it's like, what do you do? So if I'm in your business and I'm just like I'm just stuck, but I got strong desire and I can't figure out how to get out of my own way, you just say screw Falcone because I only work online. Is that fair to me? Like, I have this desire and I could get past it if I just had somebody to help me work through my stuff. I mean, a lot of people have it. Look, we all have issues, right? We all got things that are going on. We don't necessarily show our cards to people very often. Some people do, of course, but a lot of people aren't going to show their true, what's going on with them. They're afraid. I mean, it's like that makes me very vulnerable. If I shared with you my deepest, darkest fears, that would be making myself very vulnerable and very raw, and that puts me in a very, a state, it puts me in a pretty scary state. So think about it for a second. Let me give you an example. Like for example, in these retreats that I do, like one of the things, we sit down and we get comfortable. And here's the thing: I would be doing this with your business because. Like getting together with people, and something I speak about pretty frequently, this whole idea of actually spending time working together, just regardless of whether somebody has a block or not, working together, spending time together creates an opportunity for us to bond, for us to connect, for us to become more closely connected with one another. It creates a greater degree of team loyalty. I talked about this like 5-6 weeks ago. It creates deeper friendships. It creates a deeper bond. And I think that's something, I would think that's something that you want to do, isn't it? Creating a deeper bond with those that are involved in your organization, a deeper connection, a more meaningful connection. For us to work together, to play together. I mean, think about it. I'm living in a house with a group of people for a period of time and working, eating and cooking and playing and crying and hugging and connecting. And I would suggest to you, in fact, I would deeply encourage you to create a culture in your organization where within that culture, you actually spend time working together with one another, breaking bread together, seeing each other, opening up to one another. It's so fascinating. I love technology. I mean, you guys are all plugging into me right now through some kind of technology, whether it's on an iPhone or podcast or video, YouTube, wherever you might be catching me. And technology is super cool and all, but at the same time, the human connection, I don't think can be, I think we need to still have it. And with that deep human, meaningful connection, that's where we have the opportunity to help people have those breakthroughs. You might have, look again, let me give you some suggestions on what I mean here. So, like you have, in a few 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, I don't remember how long ago it was, I talked about doing like team building nights or a team building blitz where you actually get together, get a group of people together, and you spend time working, right? You spend time doing stuff. If you've never done this before, you just don't even have a clue what you're missing. I don't know, and I don't recall if I talked about this on the previous video or previous episode, but I had a group of people from Norway, for example. I'll tell you this quick story. These people in Norway come in to do this. They were part of my A team. They're part of a 12-week accountability program. And one of the challenges is, hey, go execute a blitz, right? Do a team blitz. And we had one guy that did, just stepped up to the plate and did it, which is awesome. And I asked him, so what'd you do? He said, well, we had 6 people at the house, and for 3 hours we set appointments. I said, what'd you do? He said, we set, I think it was like 9, they booked 90 presentations in one night. 90 presentations in one night is pretty awesome. I said, how many would you have done without it? He's like, honestly, we probably would have done none. We probably would have not done any. But to go from nothing to 90 is pretty awesome. That's pretty phenomenal, right? So think about that. So if you get people together in a house, and it's not going to be your whole team. It could be small pockets of people. But what if you did create a culture where that's what you did all over the country, all over the world? You got together and you actually broke bread with one another. And you hugged one another, and you saw one another, and you connected, eye contact with one another. Bring your, it's like when I did this retreat, I said, bring your stuff, bring your laptop, bring your business building things with you, and we're going to get down to building business. We're going to be engaging. See, the thing is, like in that kind of environment, if somebody's super stuck, they can't stay stuck. I mean, you could allow them to stay stuck, but I just simply don't allow people to stay stuck in my retreat. So in fact, every single time I do one of these, there are people that have some type of block. Not everybody has a block, but typically quite a few people have a block. And they get past the block because we get them moving through whatever it is holding them back. And the other part of it is that you're able to demonstrate. Like, for example, like this is the first thing that I do, just as an icebreaker. So if you're ever considering one of my upcoming retreats, if you're in a stuck position, for example, I'll just give you a little insight. Typically, not always, but typically what we'll do is we'll start off by doing prospecting calls to leads. Not because I say leads are the way, or this is the number one way because it's in slot number one. It's just because it's the easiest way to break the ice, right? Somebody picking up the phone, engaging a stranger in conversation about their opportunity, their product, is a little bit less intimidating than throwing you into the fire and saying, I want you to go talk to your chicken list right now, right? So it's a way, and it's cool because I can be there and here's the thing, if you do this, you got to understand how powerful this is. You're there and a prospect is making a phone call and they're talking too much. You can go, look, you know what? On the next one, don't give so much information about this. Or the person, these are exact examples. I had somebody that was just giving away too much information. Then I was at another person that was just speaking very, very softly, and I had her stand up. And I was just like, the act of standing up gave her more posture and she sounded better. Her volume increased as a result of it. I've had sometimes you got to do something where you got a person there that is doing great, but they don't feel that they're doing great. And that encouragement, where you see something in them that they may not see for themselves, enables them to push past whatever place that they're involved in. But you cannot do this stuff from afar. You can't do this stuff if you're just only online. And I'm not, again, look, don't ever think Falcone's a knocking the online thing. I love the internet. You're on the internet connecting with me now. That's the only way you're connecting with me, through technology. But we are in a business of people communicating with other human beings. The reason network marketing works, straight up, is because it's a referral-based business. Otherwise, think about it. Amazon is our greatest competitor. I can find anything I want. I can click a button and it's at my house in a day. Could be there the same day. That's literally our biggest competitor. The reason people buy from us and the reason network marketing companies grow is because we have something. We have the relationship factor. The relationship factor is what is the greatest difference maker. People are buying from us because of a connection we have with them. And I think that connection needs to go into our organization as well. Our organization, the people in our groups, need to have a connection with the people that they're connected to, that they know. That's going to cause them to get a better result. But you have to have a deeper, more meaningful connection with your team. So here's the deal, okay? Look, I'm not going to, the bottom line for this episode is, how deeply connected are you with the people that are in part of your crew? Have you broken bread with them? Have you cried with them, hugged them? Have you been in a deep state of connection with these people? Have you really spent time, invested time with these people? Because in a lot of cases we don't. I would implore you to do. I would implore you to spend some time. I would implore you to create an environment where people are deeply connected with one another. And that's how you create breakthroughs. That's how you can help somebody who's stuck, who would otherwise quit if you didn't create the opportunity for them to get unstuck. You can help those people get to be, like, I was stuck. When I started, I was stuck. I was willing to work hard. And one thing about me is I've never been afraid of getting it done. I'll do the work. But if you demonstrate it in front of me, if you show me how to do it, like, for example, again, when I go do these retreats, I'm not going to tell you to go do something I'm not going to do myself. I'm like, cool, I'm going to make a call right now. I'm literally working their businesses with them in these retreats, demonstrating, so that I can make a call and explain what I'm doing, or I can do a Facebook engagement and show them why I spoke in that manner, whatever it might be, whatever your thing is, however you guys build. When you can demonstrate, and I think it was a few weeks ago we talked about, and I'm pretty sure it was on the fast starting episode, this whole idea of tell, show, try, do. It's a great way of teaching. Tell the person how we do it. Show them by demonstrating. Here, you give it a try, and then giving feedback. That's like one of the biggest things that I do, watching, listening to somebody making calls, tweak this, do this a little bit faster, do this a little bit differently. That's how we can help people find their mojo, help them find their confidence. Deep, meaningful connections, you guys. Creating a culture where you're working with your people is going to help people have greater breakthroughs, and you're going to help some of these people that are, honestly, they could be some of the very best people on your team, but they're just stuck. They just got something, and you can't remove the block from afar. Okay? You can't say, oh, go read a book and your block's going to be gone. There's something more to it. And it's worth spending and worth investing this time to help somebody get past something that is not allowing them to move forward. So just look at what you're doing. And if you're not creating these deep, more meaningful connections, I would suggest doing it. I'm not sure we're here finding me, you guys, today, but if you want to get the full episode, go to toddfalcone.com/episode 21. That's where you'll find the rest of the stuff. I don't know if you're on YouTube, podcast, iTunes, wherever, but love you guys. Thank you so much for plugging in. We'll see you next time. Have an amazing day. When you get over to that website at toddfalcone.com/episode 21, by the way, click on the the Network Marketing Mastery section. There's some great resources for you to level up your game. So have a great one. We'll see you next time.